Not everyone can be academic and not everyone can be creative. But what's for sure is, if university can be seen as a possibility, who knows what can be achieved? Here at Bristol Cathedral, proud parents are taking pictures of their children who are graduating. But these children haven't even yet started secondary school, let alone university. They are the products of the Children's University, an out-of-school project aimed at enhancing learning experiences outside the classroom. But its real purpose is to give them a taste of educational success at the very first Children's University ceremony held in Bristol.
First of all, the children were just fantastic. The pride and the ambition that they've got is stunning, and that's really what we want them to have all the way through their lives. So for me, I have to say there was a tear in my eye when I saw some of them, but their smiley faces just pulled me through. It was brilliant.
And I think the big thing also is it's been sown in them, but I really hope it's been sown in their families, and who will talk to other families who will say, do you know what, we did that today. And my daughter, I was the proudest I could ever be because I saw my daughter walk down the aisle in terms of the cathedral, and that sows the seed for families to talk to each other and build aspirations, because it can't just be done, it can be done by one people alone, but if you're surrounded by a supportive family, it makes all the difference.
Okay, for me, our most important job is to inspire young people and to get them to think about the opportunities. University isn't necessarily right for everybody, but I don't want to lose young people on that journey. If it's right for them, I want them to really understand what they can get from university.
You should come and visit my school. Our children are full of hope and aspiration, and actually it's our duty, even as a primary school, to make the children aware of what opportunities there are for people to aspire to, whether it's being a pilot, a teacher, a politician, because actually there is a whole world out there, and sometimes people don't know what options there are on offer. And so we start right in primary school encouraging the children to think outside the box and to follow their passion, because if you are passionate about something, you'll be committed to it. You'll go through the tough times, the good times, but you'll stick with it.
As a parent, it was an opportunity to watch my daughter graduate and to kind of acknowledge all the things that she's done and been involved in after school.
Okay, looking straight towards camera, smiling beautifully.
So it seems that teacher expectations either gives hope or has the potential to take it away.
Here we go, 3, 2, 1, big smile, look at me.
The vast majority of parents have high aspirations for their children. Black parents have high aspirations for their children. But I guess there are some barriers that get in the way of achieving those aspirations.
I think my own passion for justice around black and minority ethnic achievement came from my own upbringing in South London. That I went to school in New Cross, Thetford, and in the 70s, and we had a black head boy. And then I went to Oxford University, and it took me about a week to realise what was missing. And I looked around and I thought, there's nobody black here. And that was a complete shock. And so I realised that the world perhaps wasn't such a fair place, and that the people that I'd gone to school with, who'd achieved really well, perhaps weren't getting a totally fair deal in society. So when I became a teacher, there was always that rootedness in me from my own origins that I really wanted to change that and make a difference.
They discouraged me from doing A-levels, yes, because they thought that wouldn't be something that I would want to do. I was quite angry actually about the whole thing, because even when I applied to go to university, my references were poor, because my head of sixth form suggested that I couldn't speak any English and I wouldn't be able to achieve my A-levels, and I wouldn't be able to go to university. So, I was actually told that by one of the professors at one of the universities I visited, and he was quite appalled that the head of a sixth form could actually send such a report on a student.
Unfortunately, it's still the case that some teachers in some circumstances, partly because of negative media stereotypes and other kinds of stereotypes and prejudices that still exist in society, perceive some groups of learners as having lower aspirations and lower expectations, and therefore that's reflected in them as teachers then having lower expectations of those learners. And of course, when you're confronted with that as a problem, you're immediately up against it as a learner. It's crushing.
In 10 years' time, it will be interesting to see how many of these children will be repeating this process all over again in the knowledge that all things are possible.